with the Q&A part. It goes do 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 do. Look at that. We got responses. Theoretically, I should have curated these questions, but I didn't. Also, it's very quiet. It's weird not having some sort of background music. Yeah, I know. I mean, I'm going to curate them live, so if they're garbage questions, they're all submitted anonymously. In case you've ever wondered, by the way, like, is Google Forms really anonymous, or do the things that I submit actually get tracked? As you can see here, they just give you the stuff in a giant pile of questions with no attribution at all. It is absolutely anonymous. They do a good job of that. Sorry, the sandwich is having a hard time. I just throw down some Starcraft BGM. I might do that. Like, real quiet in the background. What is this? All Zerg music. Oh, okay, that sounds good. How audible is that? We're in the briefing room now, boys. Tell me if it should be louder or quieter, or if this is good. It's good? Nice. All right. Because I just completely randomly moved that audio slider. I'm glad that it worked out well. That scared me. I didn't expect it to change from that so quickly. It's not October anymore. You can't do that. Okay. So, yeah, we're going to go through this Q&A thing. Just one at a time, really unprofessionally, because that's me. Unprofessional Grant. What are my favorite games outside of Starcraft? I don't want to open my Steam, because that'd be a pain. I think the Steam games that I have the most time spent on ever, I'm 99% sure that number one is Kerbal Space Program. I like, yeah, accepting response is still on. If you want to toss out a question while I'm going through the questions, feel free to do it right here. And then I'll grab yours at the end. New questions pop in at the top. 90 hours of Necopara. Oh, you fool. You can't do that on Steam. Wait, can you? Is that on Steam? Isn't that porn? They put porn on Steam now? That's crazy. What a world. So I actually do like visual novels quite a bit. Not those types of visual novels, but one of the reasons that you'll see in Ascendancy, it kind of switches back and forth between the gameplay part and the storytelling part. And the storytelling part is in a visual novel style because I like that format for storytelling. I'm a big fan of key visual novels, particularly. I know that their endings are kind of garbage sometimes, but I absolutely adore their character development. Stuff like, well, Little Busters is my favorite because Little Busters is the best visual novel ever written. I recently, about like 4 or 5 months ago, read Summer Pockets, and I like Summer Pockets quite a bit too. Steins Gate, absolutely love that one. Steins Gate was so good, so much better than the anime, and the anime was absolutely amazing. If you've never read Steins Gate, Umineko no Nakokoro ni, big fan of that too. What else? Oh, wait, this isn't the question. Somehow, I changed the question as to what are my favorite visual novels. I generally like games where I can do stuff like, I don't know, experiment. One of the things I like the most in StarCraft, for example, is the ability to have an idea and instantly go experiment with it. And that's one of the reasons, for example, Kerbal Space Program is something I'm so big on, that I enjoy so much, is because I can just build the stupidest thing and then go try it. I tend to, really anything that lets me experiment, I'm a big fan of. I like some RPGs, but I like older RPGs generally. I don't play multiplayer competitive games that much. I like XCOM. I think XCOM's a lot of fun. I like turn-based strategy. I've been playing through very, very slowly Fire Emblem Three Houses, and I don't think it's that good. I think it's okay. What is my quest? I don't know. I don't really have a quest. I'm just kind of doing stuff that seems fun. I mean, I could seek the Grail, but I think the... Oh yeah, my quest is to become a Pokemon Master. And to become the strongest duelist in the kingdom. Can you eventually put Rhythmbot on Discord? Are you considering story-based games such as Halo or Portal on stream? Hi, Eeyore. I wonder which question was yours, Eeyore. I know for 100% certain this is your question, Eeyore. So I did say that this is anonymous. However, I mean, sometimes we know who it is. Yes, I'll put Rhythmbot for you guys on either tomorrow or Tuesday. I have it written down on my to-do list to do. Do I really? I do! It's the top thing! How do I make it so you can't see everything? See, if I bring my to-do list over here at the very bottom... Oh, nope. Why is it not letting me go over here? Okay, cool. What if I do that and then this? See, it says Rhythmbot. I told you. We're gonna pretend that worked out flawlessly. Are you still working on Ascendancy? We'll get to that. In January, when you do your Halo stream, if it does well, will I continue? So yeah, I'm going to figure out a way to like once a month kind of branch off and do other stuff. It's not just my work to-do list. I can't show it all of you because it has like other people's information. Like real humans. Am I ever planning on retouching Halo Wars? Well, we finished Halo Wars, and then Halo Wars 2, I think myself and Jay Barino are going to start playing in January, assuming that he's still up for it. We're going to start playing co-op on it and see how that goes on Thursdays. You can tell us about the game I've been making. Maybe, if I feel like it. Would I buy tickets to the Pain Train? No? I don't want to... No. It sounds painful. No, the game, it's a turn-based strategy, not an RTS. RTS is way too hard to make for someone that's never made a game before. Could you do Nova Covert Ops Deathless? Yeah, we'll do that eventually. So, one of the things about... I think... I haven't necessarily been completely clear about Nova Covert Ops and the YouTube stuff. But one of the big problems is that YouTube does not understand that Nova Covert Ops is the same thing as StarCraft 2. And even if you set the game as StarCraft 2, it doesn't show people... Why did everything disappear? Why did it move? So, I've been tracking the metrics of that video quite closely. And it's not really recommending it to people that are StarCraft viewers. They're recommending it to people that are Grant viewers for the most part. And that's really difficult because it means that... I think it's because it's listed as a different game. It doesn't have StarCraft in the title. And the number of people that are searching for it are very, very low. So that means that the YouTube algorithm just doesn't understand that it's the same thing, and thus it doesn't recommend Nova Covert Ops content to people. Okay, it just keeps shifting everything. Maybe I should start from the bottom. Oh, summary instead of individual? But I like the summary tab. It seems better. I'm going to start from the... Okay, the bottom is not particularly useful either. I don't want to turn off accepting questions, because I'm sure someone will have a useful question, but where are all the questions I answered? Why? Okay, fine. I'll do individual. We'll just go through them one by one. What is my J-job? Streaming or something else? How long have I been streaming? I started streaming last November. I started putting effort into my streaming in about June, And then I decided I was going to try going full-time until the end of this year. I was just going to give it a shot. I think I started that in September. And ever since September, I have been doing full-time StarCraft 2 content, or not, full-time content creation, I guess I should say. And that has been enough to pay the bills. It has been a lot more successful than I thought it would be. I basically had on this month I'd like to make this much, assume small growth over time. This is how I would have to be able to get to in order to have it be sustainable. And it was supposed to grow like that, and then it grew like that. So thank you, I really appreciate it, and it went way better than I thought it would. Stika Speedo Pix is not okay for stream. I'm not showing you this folder. Okay, this is Eeyores. I reference Day 9 a lot, using some pretty old school and possibly more obscure references, so clearly I was a fan back in the day / presently. Was Day 9 important to you as an inspiration for streaming or anything else? Yeah, I really like Day 9. So the first thing that I ever saw, like, I played RTS for a really long time as a youngster. You know, when I was like 10 or something, we got our first computer in the house, and I think it ran Windows 95. And one of the first games that I ever had was Warcraft 2. And then one of my neighbors, their older brother, got Starcraft, and it was so much cooler. It was way better than that Warcraft 2 crap. And then I was still garbage at that point, but the first game that I really ever got super into was Warcraft 3. And that was also the first game that I ever spent a huge amount of time playing online and stuff. Probably my first ever online interaction was going onto Battle.net so I could play with my friends who, you know, lived down the street. And it just kind of built from there. So Day 9 being important to me, he was kind of, even though I had played for RTS for so long, I didn't know that esports existed. I think a lot of us somehow just missed that esports existed before like 2010. Even though Warcraft 3 was absolutely titanic. I mean, I guess it wasn't in the United States or things like that. And the first thing I ever saw of StarCraft 2 when I was like searching it up and Googling it because I knew it was going to release soon and I was super excited was Day 9's King of the Beta tournament, which is a tournament that he ran, I think it was the day before release. And I ended up binging that entire tournament I was in college at the time. And I ended up staying up basically all night and binging the entire tournament in one sitting. And I never really stopped. Day 9 has been pretty formative in my desire to take things I am interested, break them down into the parts that are applicable for growth, and then explain them in ways that is approachable by other people. I think that he's really good at doing that, particularly when he was doing StarCraft content. I really liked that. And I want to be able to continue, or I want to be able to do stuff like that, basically. He's the type of content that I really enjoy. I don't watch him anymore because I'm simply not that interested in Magic the Gathering streaming. And I understand, I mean, I've never like talked to him or anything, but I was very much so into the stuff he did. I was an alpha tester for Atlas, for example. Or maybe it was pre-alpha, I don't know. But that was the RTS that he was working on and stuff, so I got to see a lot of the insider stuff on that, and that game kind of sucked, but what you gonna do? All games suck at that state. I just really like the way that he is kind of video games communicator, if that makes sense, in the same way that like someone like Carl Sagan was a science communicator, or Bill Nye was a science communicator, in the way that they weren't the top tier scientists in the world, but they were able to take that really cool stuff that the best of the best were doing and make it approachable by everyone else and explain it at a level that can allow growth. I really think that's cool. By the way, Torellia subscribed with Prime, and Fake Mr. HT resubscribed for the second month in a row. Thank you so much. Also, I'm very, very interested in Frost Giant, largely because I know that Dame Nine's mom works there, and I think that just the powerhouses of Tasteless and Day 9 being able to advertise something that she is part of the team on making means that it's just going to be really, really successful. So as long as they make a good game, I think they're going to do really well. And that makes me very hopeful for the future of RTS. Because if you don't have to worry about your marketing or anything because you have such powerhouses behind you, you can just invest in making a fun and cool game. Ask your question here. Multiple questions is fine. Have I always lived in Portland? No. I was born in the San Francisco Bay Area, and then I moved up to Portland suburbs when I was 8 or 9, and then I've lived in 3 places in Portland. I've lived in the suburbs, I've lived downtown in Portland, and I've lived in the city itself, but not downtown. And I can tell you, you don't want to live downtown. Because living downtown in any city really sucks, especially if right across the street from you is the fire department. The number of fires people have at 3 to 4 in the morning is too damn high. Just turn your damn stove off, people. You don't need to make pizza at 4 in the morning every night and burn your house down. I'm trying to sleep. Living downtown is when I started sleeping with earplugs, and it's something I've never started regretting. It really, really helped also when I lived in the house after that, because that was a house that I shared with 5 other people, and that was very loud. And then eventually a couple of those people moved out, and the main floor of that house got turned into an infant toddler childcare, which I worked at for a while, but also my room was directly on top of the nap room. So even on like my days off or when I wasn't working there, screaming children were definitely a thing. And I like to sleep into the afternoon, stay up late, sleep in, so earplugs help me ignore screaming children. You also just get used to them screaming. It's not that bad. Actually, this ties into one of the reasons I started streaming is because I moved. I'd lived in that house basically since Starcraft came out. I lived in college dorms originally when Starcraft came out. Then after that year of college, I moved into the house that eventually became the childcare house. Unfortunately, I never could... Well, I didn't have a good enough computer to stream originally. And then by the time that I had a good enough computer, it was a childcare, and I couldn't figure out how to not have the wails of upset children being picked up by the microphone constantly. And it did not make a particularly good streaming experience, which means that I had to wait until I'd moved to actually start making content, even though I'd wanted to for 10 years. We did Deathless question already. Will we ever see the game we're working on? Maybe. How am I doing? Some people put up a happy face when they aren't. Just checking in. I'm doing pretty good. I mean, I don't fake it for the most part. Like, when I'm jazzed, it's because streaming kind of gives me an adrenaline rush in a way. And I'm definitely like 110% of myself, but that's not a fake thing. It is I'm just very energized when I stream, and I think it's part of the habit. Like, I turn all the lights on, put the green screen, I get all that stuff, have the countdown timer, and, you know, that's just how the body works, as we kind of get into those setups. So, like, you could see yesterday, I was tired and cranky yesterday, and I let that show, and most of the days, I'm just me. 2020 has been a really hard year for, I think, a lot of us. So I completely understand the question, and living in Portland, Portland has sucked in 2020. So I love Portland. I think it is the favorite city that I've ever been in. I really like the size where it's not a major city, but it's also not in the middle of nowhere. However, throughout this year, well, obviously everyone has dealt with quarantine, but we have become the target of a lot of very angry people. In that, first, well, every once in a while we have someone that comes and, like, stabs some people or does a shooting or something for politically motivated reasons, because Portland is traditionally a very left-leaning city, which makes us a target for non-left-leaning people. I'm trying to be very apolitical here. And then we had the thing where the federal government was running around in unmarked vans and abducting citizens off the streets for doing nothing. And then they would release them without charging them with a crime. But that's still absolutely terrifying. And that went on for a couple weeks. And then the entire West Coast went on fire and the sky was orange. And I was literally packed and prepared to evacuate in case that had to happen, which was right after. But you know what? Things are okay now. Yeah, basically, during the Black Lives Matter protests, Portland is a very... They were protesting a lot. I'm sorry, I'm really trying to say things in a political way to not offend people, even though I have my biases. There was a lot of protesting going on, and as a result, the police force, even though they were ordered to, I believe it was 5 or 6 times to not use tear gas on people, continued to tear gas people, even though it was against the law. And then they started using expired tear gas, which we don't know what the effects of are. So, that's neat. And then eventually the federal police just came in and started abducting people that were anywhere within about half of a mile of where the protests were happening, even when the protests were not happening. So the protests would end for the night, they would go home, and the federal police would roam around and abduct people. And it got so bad that the governor was threatening to call the National Guard to stop them. So we got to a point where there was potentially going to be an armed confrontation between federal police and the National Guard, and that would have been fun. But it didn't happen. And everything is a lot better now. For the most part. And it's getting better. I really like Portland, and I'm glad. I just don't like being the target of a bunch of angry people who have never lived here or don't know anything about us and hate us because of preconceived notion about what we are. Oh, hello, Overmind. Why are you talking? This probably isn't the right thing to be having as background music. Let me fix this. I'm going to restart this from the beginning. So yeah, Portland, I really like it. It's been great to me for almost all my life, and then this year sucked, but it sucked for everybody, and it seems like things are fine again. What is my favorite color? I'm a big fan of purple. I like dark blues, and I like purples. I think both of those are very good colors, and they fit with most other things. You know what I mean? Like, when you're looking at those colors, they just kind of... Oh, that scared me again. There's a lot of colors that are nice, but they don't work with a lot of other colors, or they're ugly on their own or stuff like that. I like the deeper, darker colors for the most part. Was the unladen velocity of a swallow African or European? What speedrun do I look forward to play the most? Probably Heart of the Swarm, because I have the most knowledge of that speedrun, but I also like Wings of Liberty because it is... I don't know, Wings is just cool. It's like the speedrun, you know? I'm not a big fan of Nova Covert Ops because there's 2 defense missions, and I'm not a big fan of Legacy of the Void because it's the worst speedrun. So it kind of switches between those two. What's my favorite level in each campaign? I don't... So, for Wings of Liberty, my favorite mission... Guys, what's my favorite mission for Wings of Liberty? You're the guys that watch me. What mission do I always get jazzed up when I end up playing? Because I'm really trying to think about that. All in, the dig. Everyone's favorite. Everyone's saying the dig. Apparently I just love the dig. I like missions that are like a decent way of the way through so that I can have things unlocked to play around with, but at the same time are not at the end because you tend to have like overpowered stuff. And I like having money to use the things. For Wings of Liberty, I don't know. I kind of like Media Blitz. I think that Media Blitz is really cool because there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. I have the way that I like to do it that I routed it out, but it's such a dynamic mission in many different ways where you can be like, well, I have this unit set, so I want to use the Odin to eliminate these guys so I can go for this stuff. And I think everyone can approach that from a different way, and you have a bunch of money to do it. I think that's cool. I think it's fun. Are you still making game? Yes. Well, no, but yes. Will I play X game on stream because you need it? Your family's being held hostage. Actual question, what's the motive for making videos and streaming? Is it just for fun? So no, I will not play X game on stream because you have not paid the ransom, and unfortunately, we need the money. This is the new way. Too many people are using ad block. So we're just going to be holding viewers hostage, or holding their families hostage specifically from now on until they subscribe. And then we'll do it. Oh, Zirkus, subscribing for tier 1 for 2 months. Thank you so much. Your family is now free. For now. We'll see you next month. Actual question, what is my motive in making videos and streaming? So originally Reiki with 100 bits, thank you so much. Originally, I started streaming because I was working on Ascendancy, the game that you can see behind, and that we'll explore in a bit. And I got to the point that I needed to create a... what is it called? I needed to create a campaign and a story. And Zephyr Boyd with 100 bits. You don't have ad block, but be safe, cheer. Thank you. I needed to write a story, and traditional story writing techniques aren't that great for video games because the pacing of video games are very weird, right? Generally, you want to have a mission, and that mission wants to be kind of uninterrupted with story, and then you need blocks of story in between, which creates a very odd writing style. So I decided I was going to go play some old school RTS and go through their campaigns and see how they did it. And I ended up playing through... oh, and then I was like, well, you know what? I might as well just stream it. So I ended up playing Age of Mythology first, and then Starcraft 1, a little bit of Age of Empires 2, and then I got to Starcraft 2, and I was like, oh yeah, Starcraft 2 is really fun. And then I kind of forgot what I was doing and became a Starcraft streamer. Also, I'd played through like 5 campaigns at that point, so I felt kind of confident, and then I just started doing other stuff because streaming is fun. I also like the idea of making content. I think that when I was younger, I was very much so a content consumer, and that's true for everybody, right? But eventually I just kind of got the itch to, I want to make something, I want to make cool stuff. And then I finally had the opportunity to do it, because as I said earlier, I'd want to stream for like 10 years. I don't know, making stuff is fun. And I am in a family of people who make stuff. Like, my dad used to do woodworking stuff. He was really big on making, like, he made this really nice entertainment center, which is where you like put the TV and all that kind of stuff, and he would make all these boxes and these beautiful things. My mom is a jeweler, so she makes jewelry and all that kind of stuff. And so I've come from a craftsman family, I guess, and that is, I don't know, I guess it's just in my blood. I found the thing that I like, and I wanted to make stuff for it. We'll do that. We did that already. Will there be more diversity in content? Will the destroyer destroy more destructible? Okay, I'm going to go through these one at a time. Will there be more diversity content? Yes and no. So just being completely honest here, StarCraft has been out for 10 years, and I don't know if it is going to be incredibly sustainable in the future. However, I also don't have anything else I want to do. Right? It's not like I'm like, okay guys, I'm gonna go become a Fortnite streamer now, adios. I don't know, is really, I guess, the answer there. I'm going to kind of, like, maybe once a month be like, hey guys, let's just take a look at this. And I'll try something, and it'll probably not work. And I won't even care, because I'll just be like, well, cool. I get to do more Starcraft then. Right now, Starcraft is working for me. The big thing is I need to keep coming up with cool ideas of stuff to do. Yeah, the thing is you enjoy Starcraft the most. I feel the same exact way, Tiffy. If I wanted to make money, for example, if I, as a content creator, was just like, I'm here for the money and I'm going to do it, I would not be in Starcraft. I want to live a life that is not impoverished, and then I want to make cool Starcraft content. That's kind of the place that I am right now. Yeah, if I wanted the money, I would have I've gotten multiple sponsorship opportunities from very scummy companies that go from Raid Shadow Legends to people that are even scummier and like use their things to mine Bitcoin off of your devices that you installed their app and that kind of stuff. And if I was in it all for the money, I would have just done that. But I'm not. I care about my brand a lot. I'm really excited about what Frost Giant has to come. I'm really excited about what Mike Morheim is potentially going to cook up. I think the future is interesting. I just have a little bit of anxiety about what is coming in the next couple years, because I am afraid that there is going to be a point where StarCraft 2's audience is tiny and the next RTS is not out yet. And I don't think that part's going to come soon, but it could come eventually. And being prepared to diversify for a very short amount of time, I think, is important. But I'm going to be one of those really stubborn people that tries to take the very last lifeboat. Do you know what I mean? Like, when the Titanic is... I don't even know if the Titanic is sinking, but Blizzard sure seems like they want the Titanic to sink. And I'm not gonna die on the ship, but I also want to stay on the ship as long as possible. Oh, there's more questions. Will the destroyer destroy more destructible? I don't know what that means, but no. Could it be possible to see player versus player stream on a non-StarCraft game? Say, instead of co-op/arcade stream, we play a game of insert not recently streamed campaign mode skirmish together. I like the idea, and I don't like that idea. So part of what I very much so make sure to do is I don't paywall my content in any way. You don't have to subscribe to me. You don't have to do anything to financially support me, because I think it's scummy. And I think it's really, really unfair to both younger audiences and audiences of people who live in not the United States or Western Europe or just places that are more economically advanced. And it makes me very anxious when the thing is, oh yeah, guys, we can all play together, but you have to spend money. It sounds like it'd be cool, it sounds like it'd be fun, but at the same time, it sounds very exclusionary to people who can't afford it. And a lot of my time when I was when I was watching streams, particularly when I was younger, like in college and stuff like that, I was broken. I was totally broke in college. I couldn't afford to subscribe to people. I couldn't afford to be buying new games. One of the reasons I stuck with StarCraft so long is because, you know what? Once you bought it, you had it. And then I want to be able to support people and create content for people in a fair way that were in similar positions to what I used to be in, because I really empathize for them, and there's a lot of those people. But at the same time, it'd be really cool to like go play some Halo Wars skirmishes with people, so I don't know what to do in that situation. And I'll have to figure it out. Is a hot dog a sandwich? I think that it is a folded open-faced sandwich. Like, if your fan base multiplied by 10, how would things change? If my fan base multiplied by 10, how would things change? I'm not sure that they would very much. So if my fan base, Eeyore donating $50, thank you so much. Happy holidays, Grant. I figured give this now since I aren't streaming on Thursday or Friday. I really appreciate it, Eeyore. Thank you so much. So, if my fan base multiplied by 10, that would be just roughly... I'm not going to give out money. Or... That's not what I meant to say. I mean, it's true. I'm not going to give out money. I'm not going to give out monetary numbers here, but I could give out very rough estimates for viewership numbers. That would be on the weekends between 3,000 to 4,000 viewers, and it would mean on YouTube that I was getting about 4 to 4.5 million viewers per month. Well, first of all, I would have a very professional editor, and that would allow me to create content much more streamlined because there are just parts of video making that I really don't like, and when I work on the videos, then I can't focus on the stream. When I work on the stream, I can't focus on the videos. If I had that audience and I had that money, then I think that I would just work on taking the same exact thing that I have right now, but bringing the quality up by a lot. So let's say that I'm kind of like a 6 across the board for my quality right now compared to other streams. And I would try to up that to like significantly higher. With editor's help, that would free up more time for me, and more time means that I could spend more time, for example, off stream playing arcade with people. I could spend more time off stream, just more time interacting with people on the Discord and that type of stuff. Those are the things that I'd really like to do more of, but I just don't have the time resources to do right now because recently I've had kind of 3 states of being. I've either been working on stream stuff, I've been working on YouTube stuff, or I have been very tired and not doing either. And so yeah, basically that. I don't think anything would fundamentally be hugely different. It would just be better. Also, chat would be really hard to read, and that would be scary. Like, I've gotten, when we do like the 1,000 people streams and I can't read chat at all, it kind of makes me sad. Do you know what I mean? Like, I really like being able to look over, see what people are talking about, and respond to them. And I don't want to lose that. Maybe I'd have to like turn slow mode on. I would never put subscriber only mode on. I think that one wouldn't work for me because that's, once again, paywalling content. But I'd have to figure out something else. I really like just being able to look at people though, and not look at people, look at things that people are saying and interact with the chat, and I don't do that as much as I wish I could, honestly. One of my favorite games is Starcraft. We answered that before. Not a question, just saying that based upon 500 people in the Discord and probably a larger number of people not in it, I do a great job of interacting with us. That's a hilarious thing to say right as I right as I was saying I wish I could do more of that, because I feel like I don't do it well enough, but I don't really watch that many other streamers, honestly, so I don't have that much context. I just have the way that I wish I could run things. What got me into RTS games? Is it my favorite genre? If so, why? I think that RTS is my favorite genre overall. It's the one that I always come back to. I play a lot of different genres of games. I'm pretty okay with almost everything. I'm not a big multiplayer online competitive player. So if there's like, I don't like team versus team multiplayer games, but basically everything else I like, but I always end up coming back to RTS. Do I have any plans to specifically become a streamer that just does whatever or stick to Blizzard games plus the occasional trips outwards? I mean, I kind of am a streamer that does whatever just because... Oops, there we go. Because I do kind of what I want to do. I'm never going to become one of those like variety streamers, I don't think. First of all, becoming a variety streamer like that is almost impossible. simply because of the way that variety streaming works. Most people that try it fail terribly. It's hard to keep an audience. They have to 100% be there for you. Your discoverability basically doesn't exist. It's tough. And I'm not really someone that I think could do that particularly well. So yeah, I think stick to... it's not necessarily going to be Blizzard games with the occasional trip outwards, but it is right now, and that's just because historically Blizzard has built the best game, RTSs particularly, and that's the genre I'm interested in, but if that changes, I will change. But I think I'm going to be an RTS streamer. One thing I might end up doing... Wait, what happened to your? Oh, wait. Did it... Whatever. I don't know what Eeyore's doing. I just stopped paying attention and answer the questions. Oh, OnlyFans when? No, you can't pay all that stuff. It's right up here in this folder. It's my cosplay. YouTube, 100,000 sub goal, 10 games of Zerg Hex. Maybe 1 games of Zerg Hex. I don't even know how many subscribers I have on YouTube, honestly. I don't pay attention to that stuff for the most part. I don't pay attention to my metrics or thing. I mean, I do to some extent. If something is going terribly, like my Nova Covert Ops video did, then I pay attention to the metrics. However, for the most part, I just want to make good videos, and I figure everything else will come after that. And I know that it'd be way easier to do lower effort content, but I do what I feel comfortable with, and I don't feel comfortable mass-producing content on my main channel. If you do want mass-produced content, then I can recommend you go to my my archives channel, because that's where all of my stuff is, and I upload there twice a day. And I can tell you that that needs more subscribers because I want to get partnered on it. So if you're not subscribed to it, please do, because I want to get 1,000 subscribers. Oh, there's probably other reasons too. Oh yeah. Why not promote the VOD channel and the main channel? I might in like the description of videos as time goes on, but I don't want to like create an advertisement video or something like that. I think it's kind of tacky. I only advertise things when I think they're really, really important. What is my personal favorite of all the StarCraft 2 campaigns I've played? It's got to be Wings. I think Wings has the most diversity. It was definitely the one they spent the most time on figuring out and all that kind of stuff. Wings is just overall very good. Except the Doctor. Would I play Before Darkness Falls with others? That is a great question. The answer is yes. We have talked about that, Synergy, Jay Barino, and I. And the thing is, there's apparently a big update that is coming. Custom? What? Oh, custom campaigns. What? Oh, I don't know. All the custom campaigns I've played sucked. They're all bad. Oh no, Synergy has some cool ones, and the co-op one. I guess I was thinking the ones with custom storylines. Synergy's ones are good, and Lord DZ's ones are good, and the reverse ones are good, though they need some more balancing, I think. And then the custom ones with stories that I've ever played tend to not be very good. Yes, so Before Darkness was supposed to have an update today, and originally what we were going to do was after Synergy J Barino and I beat Legacy of the Void co-op, we were going to go give that a shot. However, the update has been delayed, and we have been asked to wait until that update comes out, because apparently it's a huge update. So we are going to wait, and we're just going to, I don't know, we're going to do something like go play Direct Strike and go beat some pubs or something with it. Haven't quite figured it out yet, what we're doing tomorrow after we beat co-op. But we will be playing Before Darkness Falls starting next Monday, probably. Will you go on a date with you? What date is it? This was December 18th. It's already past December 18th, so we're kind of running out of dates. Maybe. Well, I do player versus player stream on games that I have streamed or will stream. Answered that one already. What if I pick it? Okay. You finish that. Will I ever play any mainstream games? No. One of the best ways to not grow is to be someone that has under 5,000 viewers and is playing a mainstream game. Right? Like, right now I have the advantage of when I stream, I'm always on the top 2 rows, often the top row of people on Starcraft Twitch. So if someone is coming into Twitch looking for something, I'm one of the first people to get shoved in their face. And that's very, very good for growth. As soon as if I went to go play Cyberpunk 2070s, what was the number? 20 whatever. The game that I'm waiting until it's not buggy to buy. Yeah, 2077. If I were to go play that right now, I would probably be 100th in the list of streamers. And no one would, there'd be zero discoverability for the stream. There'd be zero growth. And it would just kind of be a waste of time. The only time that I would play a quote unquote mainstream game is if I was really, really, really interested in playing it, and I would do it not during stream time. So, for example, one thing that I'm considering right now is WoW Classic Burning Crusade is going to come out probably. And what I might do is completely off stream time play that game. Kind of like what Neuro does, where he plays WoW Classic and it doesn't interrupt his stream at all. But I would never, ever take away time from the content I'm currently doing in order to do that sort of a thing, because it feels like it'd be a waste. I'm going to play a prop paladin, by the way. Can you do Heart of the Swarm run with no Kerrigan? Maybe. I'm considering some stuff like that. What type of sandwich was it? Is this the hot dog thing again? I said it was a bent open-faced sandwich. I don't know if I asked before, but I enjoy the Total War games. I find them kind of slow. I think they're fine. They can be fun. But slower games in general, I have a hard time with these days because I'm so focused on like Starcraft content that you get that like Sonic the Hedgehog gotta go fast thing going on. Oh, I don't spoil the sandwich that I actually eat. Do I enjoy Danganronpa? Yeah, I think that it's pretty... I mean, I really liked the first one. The second one was pretty good for the most part. But then they... how do you not spoil anything? I thought the second one wasn't as good as the first one, but was still pretty darn good. And then I got about 30 minutes into the third one and gave up. Dang it, Grandpa. I think they're very fun, though. What's the deal with airline food? This isn't an answer to the question, but I can tell you the most disgusting airline food story I've ever had. So, I was probably like 14, 15 at the time, and my mom and I were in Thailand. We have friends that are, or rather, it's a long story, but we know people in Thailand, and then we're going to go to Laos, the country that is in between Thailand and Vietnam, for some sightseeing stuff, and there was a very small airline that you had to take into there. You know, like really tiny airplane, fits like 20 people or whatever, and they did an in-flight service with it, and I guess it was a hot dog. I'm not entirely sure what it was. It was 2 pieces of white bread with basically 2 mini hot dogs in them, except when we opened it, the hot dogs were just green. So it was like one of those little styrofoam containers. You open it, it was 2 pieces of white bread and you couldn't see what was in it. You take it out and there was just 2 hot dogs, little tiny, about this tall, and they were both just green. And that is the most disgusting thing that I've ever been served. I have another bad one. So in China, we were at a hotel. We were in China because my sister is adopted from China, so she's Chinese. And obviously you have to go to China to get a Chinese kid. They don't ship them to you. So, and as we were preparing to leave, they gave us these sandwiches that looked like ham sandwiches. And, you know, it's always white bread. I don't know why. White bread is disgusting. I hate it so much. So it was like a square cut sandwich and then, you know, pulled out onto the side so you can see the stuff inside. Except when we opened it up, it was like maybe this thick worth of ham right on the edge. So it looked on the side as if it was a ham and cheese sandwich. However, it was mostly just 2 bits of white bread with the very edge being ham and cheese. Probably it was hilarious. It was basically a scam sandwich. It was quite the thing. Never gonna give you up? Man, if the next one says never gonna let you down. What is the age difference between myself and my sister? Well, I'm 29 and she's in high school. So I don't want to give exact specifics, but it's pretty significant. If my channel, my YouTube, and Twitch suddenly multiply by 10, we did that one already. Who will you designate as a DJ when you add RhythmBot? I don't know how RhythmBot works, so I don't know the answer to that. Are you a game dev by trade or just hobby giving it a shot? So basically what happened was I was working in childcare. I really like childcare. I think it's a lot of fun, particularly toddlers before they become jerks are like the coolest people on the planet. And then they all become jerks. But there's this like time period where they're just like really real and really cool. And that was the time period that we took. And then we would send them to kindergarten as soon as they became jerks. The way that it worked was, it's more like 2.5. It depends on the kid. It's between like 2.5 and 3. But eventually they realize they can just yell and scream until they get what they want. And then they become pains in the butt. But the way that it worked was my roommate, who I lived in that house with a bunch of people, my roommate, her parents owned a kindergarten. Or, yeah, I guess it was a preschool / kindergarten type thing. And they had a bunch of kids. And then my roommate made the business that was childcare, and it was infant toddler. And basically that meant that, they were a pretty prestigious preschool. So we got to be very selective because the way that it worked was you had to register a couple years in advance, like before you knew you were pregnant, in order to get into their school. But if you went through us, you were guaranteed to be able to go through them. So we got to be really, really selective with the parents, which does kind of skew my opinion on childcare because we got all the coolest kids from all the parents that we already knew were really good parents, because almost all of them were like people that had previous kids go through it before. So we got to curate everything and it was great. But eventually I have scoliosis in my back. I've shown off the x-ray on stream before, but it got really, really, really bad as time went on. Just the constant bending over, picking up kids, being used as a play structure for small children, all that kind of stuff. Eventually got to the point where I could barely sit down or stand up again, at which point I obviously couldn't do it anymore. And then I didn't really have anything, and I was like, I want to go learn how to make a game. So I taught myself how to make a game. And then other things happened, and it's never been finished, but, I mean, it kind of looks like a game. At least this page looks like a game. You know I'm as tall as Tychus, but can I eat as much as Tychus? I can eat a lot. I can eat a lot more than I'm proud of, and coronavirus 2020 being inside has really helped with that in a bad way. Hi. What, in my opinion, is the best RTS, and why is Dawn of War Dark Crusade? I mean, there isn't a best RTS. I think that is the actual answer. There are the RTS that, what is the one that gives the greatest scope of battles? What is the one that most accurately recreates the thing that they're going for? What has the best pacing and tempo? Which one is Brood War? There's a whole bunch of different things that you can use as what the best game is. Dawn of War, Dark Crusade, pretty good. The Blizzard RTSs are all pretty good. And then some dark horses that I would throw in there, stuff like Empire at War. Really good. Battle for Middle-earth 2, really good. Age of Empires series, Age of Mythology being, I think, the best out of all of those. Really good. I don't know, RTS is just full of so many hits that it's hard to say what a truly best one is, because they're just all amazing. Uh-oh. Okay. Would I ever do an FPS Halo stream, Halo 3, 2, such as Thursdays after Halo War 2? This is ER, by the way. Okay, I don't know who's writing this question. I like to take an opportunity that I love the content I've created with a lot of people on Discord. Will I ever play with community on Discord when I have the chance? We have a lot of various games we'd like. I might do that stuff off stream. So my goal for 2021 is that I get help on my YouTube videos so I can spend more time just hanging out with people and doing cool stuff like that, completely off the record, off stream, just like, hey guys, we're going to boot up this, not off stream, but like outside of normal stream hours. It'll just be like, boot up the stream and go play some games with some people or something like that. And then at the same time, not disrupt the normally scheduled content. I can't do that right now, but does anybody have a link to the thing? So basically, yeah, I'll just put it out here. Right now, I have a position open for an editor. It does not pay particularly well, but if you're interested in it, send me an email here and we'll see. That is my goal, is to have an assistant, basically, because then I can do all this kind of stuff. And I can have more videos come out, and I don't know, I have so many things that I want to do. It's really exciting, but it's also really scary. What is my favorite type of weather? Rain. Do I like warm or cold weather more? Cold. Favorite season? Fall/autumn. Would I prefer the climate in another city of the USA? No. I really like Oregon weather. It never gets super cold, it never gets super hot, and it rains more than half of the year, and I really like rain. Will I ever have a GiantGrantGames? Maybe. I'm single right now. And 2020 has not been a great year for meeting people. It is actually fairly similar to Scotland, climate-wise. So I like kids. I like them a lot. Well, okay, here's the thing. I like kids till they turn about 3, and then I don't want to deal with my kid after they turn 3. What do you do? I mean, they become cool once they become, like, I don't know, 25? But that's like a fairly moderately sized gap between the ages of 3 and 25 that I want nothing to do with that kid because they're just going to be annoying. No, I like kids, though. They're cool. They become cool at 16. Some do. So it really depends. There are kids that become cool again starting at like 10. And then there's other ones that don't become cool till they're like ever. They never do. I consider speedrunning games aren't Starcraft, maybe. Speedrunning is such a dedication, though. That's the big problem that I have with it, where, you know, if you want to, for example, get a world record in Mario, Super Mario Bros. Or something like that, you got to run the game thousands of times. Literally thousands. And that's not the type of stream we are. That's not the content that people are here for and that sort of thing. And I wouldn't want to impose that on people. So it might be something I'd look at in the future as just like let's get top whatever in this game. Just learn it very briefly, put a score up, and be done. No way I'd go for first place in many games, though, because I'm just not good enough. What's the worst thing in StarCraft 2? Oh, boy. I think the worst thing in StarCraft 2 is that early on, they did not put in the tools to make it as accessible to a casual player base as they could have. And later on, they put in those tools, but because it's like impossible to advertise those things after the fact, very few people hear about it. Also, Widowmines and Banelings. I think that they changed some things from StarCraft 1, not because it was a good change, but because they wanted it to be changed as well, which I'm not a big fan of. And then I don't think the story is like the worst thing ever, because a lot of major games have very bad stories, much worse than StarCraft's story. What else? I think accessibility was really the main problem. Is just, and not being free to play, taking so long to become free to play. I genuinely think that, let's say in 2015, they had made StarCraft, like if a game called StarCraft 3 came out, and it was literally StarCraft 2 with all the things that were in the game at the time and was free to play, it would have been a smash hit. And this theoretical StarCraft 3 would be way bigger than StarCraft 2 is right now. It's just when you add new things later on, people don't notice. The number of people that don't know StarCraft is free to play now is absurd. And it's all silly. It feels silly. It feels very mismanaged. It feels very thrown together. And part of that is because they started making the game in a completely different climate, right? They made the game back when they thought the game, basically they made the game back when you paid money for games, and that was the normal thing. So you can't really be mad at them for it, but their lack of ability to change quickly really hurt them. The lack of ability to put to put skins into the game for a really long time really hurt them. And the lack of multi-core optimization really hurt them. Because there's still a lot of people that don't have a good enough computer to run StarCraft. Nowadays, I guess they do, but especially when the game came out, the fact that it was supposed to be an esports title, but people couldn't run the darn game, that hurt. That hurt a lot of people. That hurt me. It's the only reason I wasn't a pro player. Definitely. Jeff Kelly here. Want a free copy of Last of Us Part 2 Game of the Year? Yeah? Wait. Is The Last of Us Part 2 even on PC? I don't own a PlayStation. Oh no. In fact, I've never owned a PlayStation. Do you like the black Scottish man from Scotland, which is from the game, the Team Defense Fortress 2 video game? Did I have a stroke while reading this question? Let's just try again. Okay. Do you like the black Scottish man from Scotland, which is from the game Team Defense Fortress 2 video game and is known as the demo man from Team Fortress 2. Yeah, absolutely. Love it. Hades? He's cool. I mean, his archers are really good. What will it take me to do a Speedo Tychus cosplay? A diet. Any other esports I'm into? Not really right now. I've only ever been interested in esports that are games that I've played. And I don't play that many other esports titles. Like, I played a bit of Hearthstone, for example, when it came out, but I never gave a crap about it as an esports title. The only time I ever watched professional esports was when Artosis won BlizzCon, because that was the hypest moment ever. That was amazing. But no, not really. It's really hard to follow esports if you don't play the games. Just for most games. Considered making any videos on the Starcraft 2 arcade? I have considered it. I don't think they'd be popular enough for my main channel, so I'd have to be making them on my secondary channel. And right now, I can't come up with I can't make videos fast enough on my own for my main channel, let alone my second channel. So it'll have to wait, but it'll probably happen at some point in the past. It'll probably happen some point in the future. I'm gonna go put more music on because it's quiet. There we go. Now that co-op PvP is done, what/when are my next tournaments? Okay. This is one that I should talk about because it's annoying. I talked about this a little bit in my 2020 retrospective, which is a video that I put out on my second channel. Originally, when I wanted to do the tournaments, particularly the King of the Hill style thing, was before Blizzard had put out the announcement saying that they were not supporting Starcraft anymore, and B, it was before we all got to watch in real time the things that happened to Creighton Olsen and the other Grant, where both of them put in a absurd amount of time, an absurd amount of effort, and they just failed at making it into the commentary scene. I don't feel comfortable doing... Thank you, Ace. I appreciate that. I don't feel comfortable making that type of content right now when people that were putting many, many more times the effort that I was into StarCraft commentary were doing so and failing. And I wanted to use the mods that Rhyme made to make something cool like a series like that, and I don't feel comfortable doing it now. I don't feel like it would be successful, and I really wish it would. For the co-op tournaments, they might happen. The last co-op tournament that we had was sponsored by an individual who wanted it to happen but also didn't want me to list their name out publicly. So I appreciate it. That's where the prize pool came in. That made it much more viable, so we could take a risk. I don't know. It's just... the commentary and tournament thing is rough right now, and there's basically no growth that could happen from it. And that's the main problem I have. Like, if I am to do something and it is moderately successful, it won't change anything. And I feel bad saying that because I feel like I'm giving up before I've even tried, and I kind of am. And I would like to do it. And I've really, really tried to justify it to myself. And I'm having a hard time. Have you tried They Are... or... is it They Are Billions? I think it's They Are Billions. And what is the future of my channels? I've played There Are Billions a little bit. It was suggested to me by Hans of Odd a long time ago. I gave it a try. The campaign in that game is hot garbage for the first part. And I've heard that, yeah, you just play the other modes. The game is very binary from my perspective. It tends to be a game where either everything goes really well and it's just kind of slow and boring, or everything catastrophically collapses instantly and you're just instantly dead. And I'm not a big fan of those types of games. What is the future of my channels? Oh, you have to watch and find out, besides the other things I've said today. My partner thinks I play Minecraft. How do I explain Starcraft to him? Well, are you playing against a Terran player? Because then you are playing Minecraft. How do you explain StarCraft to him? Well, normally you would just say it's Warcraft in space, but you can't say that. Just say that you're playing Minecraft in space, basically. I think that's the best way to do it. Or if they say that you're playing Minecraft, tell them that Terraria is better. By the way, when people are asking about what games I play, I have a million billion hours in Terraria, too. I love that game. What would a good arcade game / PvP mod look like to me? I want to look for good games to play on stream that won't make me rage. The games that I like are ones that, 1, give the information about what you have to do to people. 2, takes about 20 or so minutes to play. And 3, can fit 6 or more people. Those are the 3 things that I look for in an arcade game on arcade days. You don't want it to grind on too long because that's boring. You don't want people that have never played it before to not know what's going on, because there's always going to be a bunch of new people, including myself. And you want to be able to fit a lot of people into the game. Oh, and no Hunter Banes. Yes, of course. Well, I said about 20 minutes, and Hunter Banes make the games take about 30 seconds, so... When I streamed 24-hour stream, you notice that most viewers was on the Europe time. Well, I consider doing Europe stream times, or consider at least move the stream an hour or 2 earlier. That's difficult for me. If I do that, I already moved up the stream an hour and a half. Basically, I used to start streaming an hour and a half later than I do now, and that was for the Europe people, and I would have to come to a point where I stream longer than I currently do. And when I stream more than about 3 to 3.5 hours a day, I am just so tired that I can't get anything else done that day. Even on like Mondays, it's just so exhausting, and I need to make videos and stuff. I need to make emotes. I need to get bots working. Until I have someone else that can help me with that kind of stuff, I can't. I'm kind of stuck streaming. But if I can, I'm really putting a lot of pressure on this editor that doesn't exist. But someday they will exist. Well, to be fair, the emotes are really easy for the most part. I just need to be inspired with an emote. Also, I like how you were like, we don't need emotes, Grant, we need you. And then Visional's like, we need another Solarite emote now. The theoretical editor is pure Solarite. Yeah. Whenever COVID isn't an issue, would I be interested in some type of community meetup thing at BlizzCon or something? Yeah, maybe. I'm already looking at things that I'd like to do when COVID is gone. For example, the first time there is an AGDQ or SGDQ that COVID doesn't exist, I do plan on submitting a speedrun to run, because I think that would be really cool. That sort of stuff. Yeah, maybe a BlizzCon. I've never actually been to a BlizzCon because conventions tend to make me sick and they're very loud. But if I had a reason to go, then yeah. Once you've made Ascendancy, what kind of plans do I have for future indie development? Any other games, or just proving that I can make a game? I didn't know what my plan was when I started Ascendancy, and I don't know if I'm definitely going to plan, or I'm going to finish it at some point. I don't know when that is, and I don't know if it'll look the same as it currently does. But for the most part, whenever I guess this is kind of my world philosophy, is that I don't make hard plans for anything like this. Instead, I make hard plans on, I am going to do this, and then I have a list of potential things that I would like to see happen as a result of the thing that I do, and here's how I plan to capitalize on those things. But I never ever plan on specific outcomes happening off of the things that I do, because they never happen. It's only a way to set yourself up for disappointment, and it makes you a lot more rigidly inflexible when new opportunities arise. So if I was really rigidly stuck to making Ascendancy, I wouldn't be here right now. I would have gone, okay, I have played enough games on stream, my stream has 5 people, it's not growing, I guess I'm done streaming, it's time to go back to video game making. But so I guess I just go with the flow a lot, and thus I don't have good long-term plans, which is both a good and bad thing. Would it have been a better idea to show the game first and then do the Q&A so it can involve questions about the game? I think I'm just going to do live question answering during the game as it pops up. Why can't Valve count to 3? I mean, I got, I don't know, 1, 2, Alex. That's close enough to 3 to me. Oh no, it's 1, 2, part 2, Alex, right? That's the best they can do. This question is brought to you by Raid Shadow Legends. That's going to be, you got to pay me that sponsorship fee, otherwise I'm not answering it. With the holidays about, am I planning to take a break from streaming for a short vacation? So yes, if you check out the calendar section that I added for Discord, you can see what my plan is. So there are definitely, I think I'm taking off 8 total days over 3 weeks, which, I mean, whoa, that's 2 more days than the average person does on their normal work week. But that's a lot for me. I am anxious about taking days off because I know that you always lose viewership and stuff like that whenever you take time off, so I'm going to still try to do mini streams, kind of like this. Because, like, this doesn't require that much preparation or anything for me, which is nice. Have you thought about working in a game studio instead of making video? I mean, that's not really one of the things you can just kind of zip your way over to, right? It's not like, all right, what are your qualifications? Well, I made half a video game that nobody can see, and I stream and make YouTube videos. I'm like, all right, you're hired. You're the main game developer. Game dev is a very tough industry to get into, and it's pretty brutal. Like right now, the conditions for a lot of game development studios are not the ones that I would like to live my life under. I'm definitely one of those people that's not that focused on money. I'm focused on living a comfortable life and going to a point where in the future I will live a comfortable life. And I don't think money is the only way to do that, and I don't think that destroying yourself now for the potential of comfort later is necessarily worth it. Yeah, I don't really want to get underpaid, overworked, and driven to a above average rate of suicide and stuff like that just to make a video game. Because that's what happens, and it's not true for everybody. And I think that things are getting better. It used to be a lot worse. But it's not a position I envy. Not right now. Have I ever heard of Sunspear Games RTS Immortal? It might release in that gap time. I try not to look at games before they release. I think that is... I don't look at like anything before it releases. I wait until there's reviews out, or at least until I have the ability to try it, or they're showing off stuff. Because every time that you ever get hyped about a new product before it comes out, you end up upset. Right? How y'all doing with your Cyberpunk, by the way? Having a good time? Is it as good as you thought it'd be? Or is it just a fine game that's very buggy? Do I think Marines could cost gas? No. That would make them really bad. Will I ever play Company of Heroes 2? I have... Yeah, I might play the campaign of that game at some point. Because I have never touched the campaign of that game. I've only played skirmish mode. And it's pretty fun. Nice. Oh. I can't believe you did that. Nice. You didn't even like get someone slipping in under you and getting it at number 70 or something. Absolutely nailed it. Very impressive. Oh, Toaster. What? Nightbot? What? Toaster messed up. Why is Nightbot? Oh no. Would I do a Battle for Middle-earth 2 playthrough? It's one of your favorites, and I'd like to see me play it. Here's the thing about Battle for Middle-earth 2. It doesn't work on widescreen things. So the way that it works is it has a maximum resolution, right? And that maximum resolution is set by 4:3. So what happens is if you play it now on a modern monitor that's like 16:9, 1080p, because the maximum height of the screen is really low, then it forces you to be really, really zoomed in. I guess it's that it doesn't work with high resolution monitors, I think is the actual problem. So you end up absurdly zoomed in, and the game is like impossible to play as a result. It's really stupid. And I hate it. So I would have to like go get a 4:3 monitor or something. And I don't even have VGA on my graphics card. Like, how would I even plug it in? I don't think a 4:3 monitor exists that takes DisplayPort. Best Viking variant. I'm a big fan of Olaf. I have no idea what I should ask. Can you help me? I don't know. Next question is going to be the one that you should have asked. What language do I speak? Okay. So you know that question you should have asked? That's not the greatest one. I speak English. I don't speak any other. So what happened with me in school, linguistically, if you're not American, it's probably pretty obvious that every American really sucks at speaking other languages. And part of that is because A, they don't start you on another language until, you know, like 6th, 7th, 8th grade, which is very, very late into the process. But also, what happened with me was when I went from middle school Spanish and my first year of high school, then I transferred schools. And at my new school, everyone had an advisor, and that advisor would help you figure out all your stuff, especially when you transfer. And my advisor was a German teacher and forced me to drop Spanish and take German. So I ended up with 2 years of German, 2 years of Spanish, and no ability to speak either. And then the US education system deemed that good enough, and I graduated. Do I have / had any pets? I do not currently have any pets. I've historically grew up with dogs. I live at no pets at the dorms, then had pets at my old house. Cats. I don't like cats. I like dogs, but I do not take care of any dogs right now. Well, I move in with you. I got a nice room with a steamy... for streaming, with a cozy wood oven. I don't think that an oven helps me stream. I'm just gonna throw that out there, is that I'm not entirely sure how an oven helps me stream. It is cozy. That's nice. Maybe. It depends how much rent is. Have I ever played Frostpunk? Do you generally like single-player RTS, or does there have to be some type of PvP element in the background to campaigns? I like single-player RTS. I think they're fun. They're not something that I'd stick to for eternity, for the most part. I have not played Frostpunk. I don't actually know what it is. I'm gonna Google it real quick. Frostpunk. It's got a 9 out of 10 on stream. Maybe I have looked at this. City building survival game. Oh, it's a city builder. I do like city builders. I think they're fun for a bit, and then I get bored. Have I considered playing the Warcraft 3 co-op campaigns? Wait a moment. Guys, are there Warcraft 3 co-op campaigns? Does anybody have any more information on that? Because I could play those with Jay Barino or something. I don't know. Those sound like a good idea. I had no idea they existed. Okay, let me write these down. Frostpunk. There we go. Got those written down. Thank you. This has actually been very helpful for me now. Which class is my favorite in Terraria? Also, which boss is my favorite? So I've only ever played Terraria through 2 killing Moonlord as a ranged character and as a melee character. And I can say that I liked melee better. Oh, Jay Bruno already did 2 playthroughs of them. That's a shame. Ranged seem kind of samey. For my favorite boss, I mean, Moonlord's cool. I think the Moonlord is just like, he's so hard that I think he's quite a blast to play against. I like him a lot. Do I mind if continued clip compilations was actually fun to make? Yes, I was going to ask you about that because I thought that was really cool. And I will definitely be sending you a message about that later. Would I be interested in doing more charity schemes to help the economy and world recover after COVID ends? I would, but so I'm not a big streamer. That is part of the truth, is I'm not a big streamer. So I know that a lot of small streamers do charity stuff, not as a way to help the charity, but instead as a way to try to get additional eyeballs onto their content for their long-term growth. So then I become hesitant about doing stuff like that when I'm barely going to raise any money. I'm not really going to help that much comparatively. But at the same time, it's like, wait, are you just trying to justify not helping charity then? It's a very tough question, because I like the idea. That's why I did my first speedrun video that I made on YouTube was a charity one. And then I donated all the profits plus a little bit extra that I made from that one to charity, because the YouTube profits are higher than I think that I would make off of random donations here. And I think that's the way that I would go, because that's more consistent and reliable than my stream stuff. It would feel really bad if I did a charity. I was like, hey guys, I'm doing stuff for charity, and then I raised like $37. And it's like, we did it, guys. We saved the world. please watch my content. So I think YouTube videos is just, with the content that I make and the numbers that I get from various things, I think that YouTube charity is the better way for me to go. GiantGrantGames Minecraft server win. I've never played Minecraft in my life. I don't have a server. So I don't know if it'll happen. When are we going to do the myth stream? At some point in 2021. That has been my answer to a lot of the things for when are you going to do that. Luckily, there's an entire year inside of 2021. And if it lasts half as long as 2020 feels like it lasted, that's going to be a lot of time for content. Demo night, Team Fortress 2. Why have there been multiple Team Fortress 2 questions? Were you tall as a child, or did I turn 20 and suddenly grow 3 feet taller? I basically, in school, was always the tallest person in my class, despite always being one of the youngest as well. So yeah, I was always tall. I actually got lucky that I never had a growth spurt in puberty, because I've heard those really hurt. I just like kind of linearly grew. And then I think that I stopped growing at about like 15 or 16, and then I was just Grant height, and I've been that way ever since. Yeah, so I got really, really fortunate, even though I'm way too tall, and I do get head pains from slamming my head against things every once in a while. Scouts or Wraiths? Wraiths, way better than Scouts. They're cheaper and they cloak. Baneling or Disruptor? Why? Disruptor, because it's a bigger investment. Am I crazy for seeing my Gmail profile picture as a guy with a giant nose eating a slice of pizza? Let me see if I can. This was a branding thing that I actually was working on for a long time, or not a long time. A friend made the graphic for me, but I don't know where the graphic is anymore. Because it's really, I don't know how to show it off. But it is, I was theoretically going with the brand name from A to Zerg for a while. And the picture is letter A and then Hydralisk in the form of a Z. However, I realized that if I were to ever want to branch out of Blizzard content, then that wouldn't be a good naming scheme to go with, because Zerg is trademarked, right? So using trademark content in your name would probably be pretty cool with them until you ever try to move out of it, at which point it becomes complicated. So I dropped that idea. But I really like the picture, and I'll see if I can find it in full scale and post it on the Discord. When I do an Among Us stream with viewers, is Among Us an RTS to you? I've never played Among Us because you have to buy it. I've heard it's fun, but maybe. Favorite movie/movies? So, I generally don't watch movies. Honestly, the things that I am, well, it's free on mobile. I have a phone that's like 7 years old or something. It's literally a piece of garbage because I only text people and I don't use it for fancy things. Where's the music? Starcraft music, where'd you go? Where's Lester? Okay, we're going to jam out. Sorry about that. So what is my favorite movie? Princess Bride is really good. I like movies that are funny and more realistic. Like, of the movies that have come out in like last 10 years that I really liked, I think my favorite movie was The Martian. Because that, I don't know, I like things like that. I liked Apollo 13 a ton. I like just realistic type stuff. You know what I mean? When the tension, I don't like things where it's like the fate of the world is at risk here, because, oh my goodness, I don't care. The fact that the fate of the world is at risk means that we know that they're going to win. Because the world isn't going to blow up. No one has the balls to do that in a movie. So I like it when things are more personal. I like it when there's a lot of character development. I like that sort of stuff a lot more, and you tend to get that better in series than you do in movies. I think it's one of the reasons that I do like visual novels. Well, the good ones, is because they tend to be so character focused and the scope of the plots tend to be a lot smaller and approachable. Hitchhiker's Guide. I'm not a big fan of the absurdist humor overall. I have a hard time with that type of stuff. It just isn't my favorite. Did someone ask? Yeah, The Martian is a comedy. It's hilarious. I'm at work and my supervisor came and I missed my answer on EU time zone stream. Could I say it again? Yeah, basically, I already moved up the stream an hour and a half to try to fit with European times. Unfortunately, right now, because I spend so much time working on all this stuff, I have a really hard time justifying spending more time on the stream. And living on the West Coast is really difficult because it means that hitting a good time for both myself, or not both, but for myself, for East Coast people in the United States, and for European viewers at the same time is like impossibly difficult. And I would just have to stream more. I can't do that right now, but if I get an editor, if I get someone to help me out doing the more monotonous things that I don't like doing in content production, then I can spend more time doing those types of things and it'll be good for everybody. Will I upload the 100% achievement run onto YouTube? Yes, go to the GiantGrantGames Archives channel on YouTube, and it is uploaded in 4 segments, one for each campaign. Thank you, 7th Ace. Have I considered playing a long game on a certain day of the week, for example, Total War or XCOM, where I can play a bit each week? I actually did play through XCOM back when I was like a 5-person streamer. It was like myself and Hans and Snoxtar hanging out doing XCOM stuff. And Ryan would always come in and he'd be like, ugh, this isn't the campaign. And then he'd leave. That was pretty fun. But maybe. Those are just those extra things that I'd probably want to do on non-normal stream times. So that kind of stuff, it'll probably end up happening. It'll be very sporadic and random, but not during normal stream hours. Have I ever played Slay the Spire? No, I have not. Play through Frostpunk? Yes, I have it written down now. How do you feel about RTS games where you don't make buildings? I think that they can be fine as long as they're designed around it. However, a lot of games just try to take that aspect out without really thinking it through particularly well, and as a result, things don't work great. There is this whole push in RTS design where they want to simplify things because they think that is how you get your audience, but then they lose the tactical depth to the game as a result, and instead of bringing in the casual audience, they lose the hardcore audience, at which point there is no one that is selling your game as the amazing thing. So, if they are designed around it, it's phenomenal. If it's not designed around it, it is a travesty. Who is the true Emperor of the Dominion? That is our immortal King Mengsk. I think these questions have taken the form of a high priority chat client thoughts. Yeah, basically. But at least I get to see... There was like 30 questions when I started this, and we're at 109. Okay. I was breathing manually a long time ago. Which world record is easiest to get in Starcraft 2? Out of the 3 or the 4 most commonly run campaigns, I think the one that if you were to sit down and grind it and you want to take the world record would be Nova Covert Ops, because I didn't spend very long on that game and I got it. So also, I think there might be something Now that the gunblade actually works, I think there might be a strat on the final mission that would involve spending like 45 seconds to get the gunblade on the third to last mission, and then utilizing the gunblade to dive the Xanthos and pull it really, really quickly over to your base, and you could probably save like 5 minutes on that mission. Maybe not 5 minutes because it only takes like 8, but I think you could save around 3 minutes on that mission if you were to figure that out, and that would be a pretty easy way to get the world record right there. I played around with it, but I don't think it's going to, or rather, if you were to sit down and figure it out, because I was very close to getting it working even though I didn't have the gunblade, because it was bugged at the time, and I was just thinking, man, if only I had this weapon, I think it would work out. So if you want to go get that world record, figure that part out, and then copy the rest of my run. What is the meaning of life, universe, and everything? 102. Follow-up charity streams question. Do I donate to any charities? If so, which one? I donated to whichever charity. I don't donate that much to charity right now because simply I don't have a whole lot of money to donate to charity. I used to do charity work a good bit, like when I was in my teenage years, for example, I did a lot of work for Habitat for Humanity, which is a house building thing. I went to Montana on a Habitat build, and then I did some local ones and stuff with my school. And I think those things are absolutely phenomenal. I really support them. And I think that just putting in the effort is probably, I'm not going to say that throwing money at people will not solve problems, but throwing in your time, if you were looking for a way to help out, is probably even better, almost always. Red Alert 3 co-op campaign, probably. Is it pronounced GIF or GIF? It is. What I do for a living right now, I apparently I read questions from a Google forum with Starcraft music in the background while looking at a video game that I never finished building. No one has the balls to blow a planet Star Wars. Well, I mean, I think that's part of what made the original Star Wars so trailblazing, right? The original first 2 Star Wars movies, when they came out, were so groundbreaking in the things that they were willing to do as a movie that they changed everything. That's why it's one of the biggest movie franchises in history, is just because of that start. And then everyone kind of started copying them, and Star Wars itself got very complacent. What's your favorite music genre? Things that I don't have to listen to the vocals of, because I get very distracted if I listen to vocals. I like having music on. I don't like listening to music actively. And I know that people will get very, very mad at me for saying that. But it's just how I feel. Like, and something that is longer than 2 minutes and 40 seconds, so it will actually stay on when I'm trying to play it in the background here. Come on. By the way, the only music I have balanced properly is StarCraft music, which is why I'm playing it all. Well, this is like 2 minutes as well. Thank you. Okay, we're almost done. No movie. Yes, okay. And the thing is, Alderaan wasn't the planet, though. Destroying a planet and destroying the world are completely different. What kind of regular novels do I like? I already mentioned visual novels. Current book that I just started reading through was An Absolutely Remarkable Thing, the second Hank Green book. I say I've started reading it through, but I've actually just had it sitting here for a while. Or did I say An Absolutely Remarkable Thing? I meant A Beautifully Foolish Endeavor. Absolutely a Remarkable Thing was the first one from it. It was really good. I kind of read a bunch of books randomly. Let me go to my bookshelf. Let's see what I got. I don't want to get up. I don't know, I was reading some book about Leonardo da Vinci. I kind of just like pick up books, read them for a bit, and then I get bored and I stop. I have like a really bad book attention span and I don't read nearly as much as I wish I did. Because I know that like all successful people on the earth that are self-made read a lot more than I do. I read Dune in high school. I remember it being very, very good. Who would win in a fist fight between Nekoswan and Speedotychus? Well, Nekoswan only has one fist because he has a robot arm, so I think that Speedotychus gets the advantage there, given he has two fists. I don't want to work tomorrow. Can you get up to work for me? Uh-oh. I am scared to what this link leads to. It's going to be like a Rickroll or something. I'm prepared to close it. What is this? I'm 90% sure it's German. Okay, it's just text. No, it doesn't look like German. Is it? Maybe. Okay, yeah, just don't go to work. How often do I stream without pants? I have never streamed without pants because it is cold where I stream and it would be cold. I almost always stream with a blanket over my legs because it's also cold. Are these questions hard? No. Are they numerous? Yes. Do I play an instrument? No, I have never played an instrument in my life except the mechanical keyboard. We're running out of questions, yes. And final question. What does Pot of Greed do? It allows you to draw 2 cards from your deck, and fortunately it is a magic card which allows you to play any number of them in a turn. It's completely broken. What a card. I don't know why it exists, but it does. Uh-oh, another question. No! Okay, we're done with that. So, I don't really know how to show off Ascendancy.